takedown of Khamzat Chimaev. Um, so real quick, I'm doing like a what I call a SWOT analysis. It's SWOT, SWOT. It's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So his strengths, he's physically strong. He's very physically strong. So his physical strength, his cardiovascular endurance, his physical frame size. He's a big dude. He's 6'2" at 170 pounds. Another thing he does really well is his head position and head pressure. He moves his hands and his head as he feints and he closes the distance. And his biggest asset is his aggression, uh, in my humble opinion. His weaknesses, honestly, I had to look really hard for his weaknesses. I would say the only thing is that he leaves his head open during a shot for a knee. Um, for him, opportunities, I think he could add head kicks in, and threats, how people might exploit it, is I think the knee to the head, and sometimes he pursues the finish so aggressively that he leaves some space in the grappling exchanges. So let's take a look at some of his stuff. So here we go. This is his last 4 fights. Comes out and then opens up with that kick to the body and goes straight in. So real quick, let's take a look at that. See how he kind of he comes out, touches gloves, move around a little bit. He bounces in and out, kind of getting a little bit of a read, and then he blasts that body kick in. And then from there, doing the little head feint. See how he does that little head feint there and then blasts the body kick in? Just trying to get a read on what they're going to do, and then dips his head again when he throws that punch. And this time he actually goes in for the takedown. So real quick, look at this position here. His head is open again. The one weakness I could find with this guy is like his head is open during his shots for a knee. And as we saw with Ben Askren, that could potentially be a real issue. So then he takes people down. He's pretty dominant on the ground. Again, sometimes in some of these transitions, he leaves a little bit of space. Just because he's pursuing the finish so aggressively. So then, which is great. Again, that's his biggest asset is his aggression. I think that's his biggest strength is just how aggressive this dude is. Comes back out. So next round against his opponent, they're thinking strikes a little bit. Again, he shoots in for a takedown off of a kick. So again, his opponent's not in a great position to land a knee. But if you look at his position here when he's shooting in, hands are wide, leading with his head. If you can find somebody, and I should note that I'm making this before the Leon Edwards fight, if you can find somebody who's a skilled striker and as athletic as Khamzat, who can time a knee, that's a serious, well, not a serious weakness. Again, that's like the only possible, well, one of the only weaknesses that I can identify with my unskilled eye. Gets in, gets the body lock. Again, not super impressed with the takedown defense of these first couple of opponents. But again, not to take anything away from Khamzat, he's an absolute animal, just to be clear. Gets him on the ground, controlling. And then again, always looking for the finish here. So I really respect that, and I like that a lot about him. So he gets a little bit of looks like a Darce. Yeah, he's got a Darce locked in. And flips him over, and then this becomes a little bit of a chase trying to get hip to hip here. This guy lasts a little bit. He actually surprised me with how long he was able to fight this off. And then Khamzat really hips in and puts this guy to sleep. And he ends up winning that fight. And that was his last fight before the UFC. Now again, coming out in the first fight in the UFC, look at his head position here when he's shooting. Again, I think there's real opportunity there if somebody can time that for a knee. But it's high risk, high reward because you're giving him. If he's able to eat the knee, then you're pretty much guaranteed to give up a takedown. So I don't know, but you at some point he's probably going to shoot in, and when he does, if you can time an explosive knee, that might be a good thing to do. Really like how he works his opponents towards his corner. Again, good fight IQ, good awareness of what's going on. Just a smart dude. He's got a lot of things going for him. He's, like I said, very physically strong. You can tell the size and physicality disparity between his opponent here. And this fight is just more of the same. He's very dominant on the ground. If you look at, let me see here if I can find it. There we go. That if you look at this position here, I really like that. How he's hooking the leg. He's not trying to work around to the back. Here he's driving against the guy, his opponent against the fence, and when he's got his right leg hooked around his opponent's left leg, stretching him out like that, and hipping in, and watch his head pressure. See how he's got good head position and good head pressure in a lot of his grappling exchanges. Um, and I've said before that what really separates, look at that head pressure right there. Great. What really separates the good from the great is their head pressure in their grappling exchanges, the head position and the head pressure. Uh, More of the same here, just putting a beat down on opponents. People talk about Habib-like pressure here, but I really feel like he's more, if it's even possible, he's more aggressive than Habib. Um, never rests, always just smashing people. Let's see here. And then boom, look again. So the one weakness um, and the one opportunity for future potential opponents is how he shoots in. His arms are wide. He leads with his head, ducking it down like that. That's going to be a perfect opportunity for a guy like Neil Magny or maybe Leon Edwards or I don't know, somebody that's good with knees. It's going to be a great opportunity for them if he doesn't fix that. Good position here. Again, just dominant. But not to take anything away from him, but he is clearly the better conditioned and stronger fighter here. So I'm interested to see, and again, this is before the Leon fight that I'm making this. I'm interested to see how he handles somebody that's closer to his level of athletic, uh, maybe closer to his level of strength and skill. Again, great work here. Just constantly working to break him down and finish the fight. Never resting. A lot of guys will just get to a position and just rest. They'll go as long as they can before the ref tells them, you got to work here, you got to work here. I don't think a ref has ever told Khamzat, you got to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy is just, he's constantly trying to put people out. And yeah, that's the end of the fight there. And then this is his second fight in the UFC. So again, shooting in for the takedown here. Hands are wide. This one he doesn't dip his head quite as. Let's see, does he dip it as low? Uh, well, he kind of does. Right? Yeah, so right there, if you could time a knee to land perfectly on the side of his temple right there, then then that'd be great. And again, I don't know, man. This is why I can't wait for the Leon Edwards fight because when I look at this, like the guy he's going against here does not have great takedown defense. Like clearly he's going for a shot here, and this guy's hands are. I mean, he's just not in great position here to defend a takedown. Um, but anyways, I'm going to try to focus on what he does well. And so this position here, look at that head pressure and the way he's squeezing in on the rib cage. If you've been here before, holy cow, is that uncomfortable. I personally know two people that have had their ribs broken in this position. When somebody when they're clamping in with double underhooks on your floating rib and really putting head pressure in, that is extremely uncomfortable. And again, you can just see the physicality of Khamzat here. He is extremely strong, powerful, picks him up, slams him to the ground. Let's see here, what's happening here? Oh, and then immediately, so as soon as he gets him down, he gets that, people call it the wrist ride, the Dagestani handcuff, whatever you call it. He immediately goes to that backside arm. I love that. That's great. Great control, and then always working for the finish, and eventually he gets it in a little bit here. Just ground and pound, great transitions here, extremely aggressive, and just working all the way up until the end. Let's see, where does this thing end? Yeah, just ground and pound all the way until the end. And now in the Gerald fight, man, I mean, this is as close as you can get to a perfect fight. This is insane. Comes out, look at that. So he's feinting, throws that jab up high, feinting, changing his level to go low, feints with the hand, feints with the body, moving in and out, shuffling side to side, throws that kick. So that is kind of the one pattern we see with him. Oh, that's another thing I should have mentioned. So see how he's orthodox here. He likes to come out opposite stance of the person he's fighting. So if you notice in the last couple of fights, he'll either come out orthodox or southpaw depending on the person that he's fighting. So he comes out orthodox here, but he came out southpaw a couple of times when his opponents were coming out orthodox. So he likes to be open stance and go for that open side body kick. And usually he shoots for a takedown. In this fight, he threw the open side body kick and did not go for a takedown. But again, just great work. I mean, this is as close as you can get to a perfect fight. Comes out, bouncing, light on his feet, feinting with his hands, feinting with his head, feinting with his body. Throws a hard body kick to make him think about going low. And then just the way he closes off the cage, steps forward, and then watch, steps forward and steps to the side, forward, steps to the side. Just slowly making the amount of room that Gerald has to move smaller and smaller and smaller until he completely closes it off. My guess is that here he was planning on, because he knew Gerald was such a good grappler, my guess is that he was planning on, instead of shooting for open field takedowns like he normally does against his opponents, my guess is that he was going to try to put some pressure on Gerald against the fence with some strikes and then shoot for a takedown. But he didn't need to, because it was just this first punch right here put him out. And then what I like is after he lands that punch, see how, okay, so first of all, look at the hip rotation in that right hand. Do you see the bend in that right knee and how he turned into that punch? That is a powerful, powerful shot right there from a very athletic man. Now, watch after he lands that shot, watch his left hand here. Before he recognized it was a knockout, that left hand came out for a left hook, and then he sees that he's going down and he changes it and he starts to go towards the ground and pound. But just the fact that he immediately, after that power right hand, he was going to follow it up with a left hook, I mean, it tells me this guy, you know, this was not a lucky fight. This was as close to a perfect fight as you can get, as I said before. This was not, I don't believe that this was just a lucky shot. This guy came out like an animal and did what he was supposed to do. Um, so again, very athletic, and his strengths is um, his physical strength, his head position is great. He doesn't have really any weaknesses that I can see, except for maybe his footwork might could use a little bit of work, and his head position when he shoots for a takedown. But once he gets a hold of you, his head position is great, and he just seems like he's a very strong, very aggressive dude, and he's going to be a real problem for anybody he fights at any weight. And again, this is before the Leon Edwards fight. So I'm really interested to see what happens on December 19th. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you find this remotely useful, hopefully this doesn't get taken down for copyright infringement. I'm doing my best to avoid that kind of stuff. I might have an MMA fight locked in for January 9th. I don't know. But please, if you appreciate what I'm doing, follow me on social media. If you're interested in sponsoring me, hit me up on social media. I also have a Patreon page. At a very minimum, do something that costs you absolutely nothing, except maybe a little bit of time. Just like, comment, subscribe. Again, thanks for your time, guys. All right, bye.